Hey guys, it's Courtney here from flynnknit. Today I'm going to show you how to attach our two parts of our brim to create a double brim beanie. And I have created my sample here in two colors. Yours also might be two colors, but I did mine specifically this way so it's easier to visualize how to attach those stitches, okay? So to start out with, we're going to fold up the bottom of our hat into itself, and it kind of fights against you a little bit at the beginning, but it'll smooth itself out as we go. Okay, and what we're trying to do is match up the next stitch on our left needle. So after we've completed a round, we're starting our next round, and this would be our first stitch. We want to match that up to the first stitch from our cast on edge. And I left my cast on tail on, did not weave it in, simply just to help you visualize better where you're going to start, just to provide a little extra help there. So if you are doing your own double brim, you might want to weave this in before you do that. But this is, for this purpose, I thought it would be easier for you to really get a feel for what stitch I'm starting with. Okay, so we're just going to attach these two together. And we do that by going through that next stitch, and then we find that first stitch. So it's matched up evenly, okay? And since this is my cast on tail, I know this is my first stitch. And you'll notice you've got kind of this series of sideways V's along your cast on edge, and that is exactly the stitches that we are going to be going into, all right? So there's my first stitch, and I'm going into the first part of that, okay? And then I'm going to simply knit those two stitches together. Okay, so now we have that attached right there. Now I'm going to look for the next little sideways V shape there. And again, I'm going to insert my needle through the next stitch on my left needle, and I'm going to pick up the first part of that stitch from the cast on edge, just the first part. So some people go through both parts. I like to just go through the first because it creates a smooth edge, I feel. And we're going to knit those two together. Okay, and then we look. We just knit this stitch, so now we find our next little V shape on the side, sideways V, and again, insert through that stitch on our needle, and we find the front part of that stitch, and we knit it together. Okay? So we're gonna go through this and systematically, one by one, go through each stitch and attach it, and they should line up as you go, okay? I'm going to do a few more and meet you back here just so I can show you what it looks like a little more complete. Okay, so I've gone ahead and knitted some more of this, and you can see that this is how yours should start to look, okay? So it's stitch by stitch, it's nice and neat, and it doesn't create too big of a ridge or a bump. It's nice and soft. And as long as you go stitch by stitch, it's going to look this way too, okay? And it's a slow process, you know, as you get started, because you want to match those stitches up. But if you just keep going around stitch by stitch, it'll create that nice, tidy double brim, okay? So to complete yours, you'll just keep following around as we've been going. And once you reach the end of that round, your brim will be attached, and you'll just continue working with your working yarn to knit the rest of your hat, okay? So I'll go ahead and just do a couple more stitches here for you. Again, going through that first part and attaching that stitch, okay? And then we'll go through another one, and I look for that next little sideways V, just the first part closest to me, and knit it together, okay? And again, that's how it should look as you go along. So this is just one way to attach your double brim. It's the way that works for me, and I hope it was helpful for you. And I hope to see you guys back here soon. Thanks so much. Follow me on Instagram at flynnknit to see what I'm working on next.